Councilmember Baines. Councilmember Bredefield.
Here.
Councilmember Brandau. Here. Councilmember Capriolio. Here. Councilmember Chavez.
Here.
Vice President Soria. Here. Council President Olivier.
Here. Thank you. At this time, we'll have an invocation by Mr. Darrell Duchesne, Fresno Unified School District Project Manager, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Would you please stand?
With bowed heads. Ooh. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, we first give you thanks, honor, and praise for who you are, Father God, and all the many blessings you bestow upon us each and every day. We thank you, dear God, for your grace and your mercy. We thank you for your loving kindness and your unconditional love. And Father, we come before you this hour praying for your blessings upon this meeting as our leaders are gathered together today, Father God, to make decisions that will affect Fresno and the residents of Fresno. I pray for your guidance. I pray for your wisdom, O God. I pray that you would lead them and guide them in every way, O God. Your word instructs us, Father God, to trust you with our whole heart, to lean not to our own understanding, but to acknowledge you in all our ways and allow you to direct our path. I pray for direction today, Father God, as they come together to talk about issues that are going on in our city. I pray, Father God, for wisdom as they talk about issues that are going on in our city, Father God. We know that it all starts here, and the decisions that are made will affect the residents of Fresno. Help them, Father God. Lead them and guide them, oh God, in helping us to reach our potential as a city, Father, to be one body, one mind, one goal. I pray, Father God, that you would just rest, rule, and abide in this place on today, Father God. And we're just so thankful for all the things that will come out of this. Let there be direction. Let there be wisdom. Let there be guidance. Let there be understanding, oh God. We'll forever give you the praise, the glory, and the honor. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Let everyone say, thank God. Amen and amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's time now to approve the agenda. Madam Clerk, are there any changes to today's agenda?
There are no changes.
Does anyone, any council members have any changes they'd like to make to today's agenda? Okay, seeing no one, the chair will entertain a motion to approve. We have a motion and a second. The screen is clear. Is there any opposition? Item carries unanimously. We now turn to ceremonial presentations, and we begin with the proclamation of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, sponsored by Mayor Lee Brand. Welcome, Mayor.
I speak up here.
There should be a microphone for you. Oh, she's getting it? Okay. Uh-oh.
I just talk loud. Is it ready? Can you hear me? Okay. I'm honored to be here today to present a proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I'd like to call it domestic violence, pervasive not only nationally but locally. Over 500,000 calls. Okay, over 500,000 calls every year in Fresno County alone. I had the privilege to do a tour of the Marjorie Mason Center, and Nicole has done a wonderful job over there, and I was amazed by all the progress. There's still some issues out there that we need to deal with, by the way, on parking and other issues on capacity for people that need emergency housing. So, Lisa Smith-Camp, would you like to say something?
Sure. Give a lawyer a microphone. I'd just like to thank you, Mayor, and the council and the city of Fresno for all the support they give the Marjorie Mason Center. Marjorie Mason is an integral part of domestic violence education, awareness, and really counseling for both victims and domestic violence offenders. The goal of domestic violence awareness and education is really not to tear families apart, but to bring families back together and to keep families healthy so that we can have healthy families and healthy moms really equate to healthy children. The work that's done at the Marjorie Mason Center is amazing every single day. It enhances the life of women. It enhances the life of children who are victims to this unfortunate cycle that we have of domestic violence. So I just want to thank the mayor and the city for acknowledging it and compliment Luciana and Nicole for all the hard work they do. You guys do a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you notice, purple is the color we're wearing today in support of domestic violence. Brianna, before I give it to you, Nicole, would you read the proclamation? And you look good up there, Brianna.
Whereas domestic violence impacts countless individuals without regard to age, race, religion, or economic status. As victims suffer at the hands of a spouse or partner, it affects their children, families, and entire communities. And whereas domestic violence is widespread and affects over 12 million men and women in the United States each year, and at its most tragic level, kills an average of 3 women every day. And whereas 5,000 domestic violent calls are made to the Fresno Police Department alone each year, and as Fresno County's only dedicated provider of domestic violence, safe housing, and support services, Marjorie Mason Center serves over 5,700 individuals affected by domestic violence each year. And whereas each October, the formal recognition of Domestic Violence Awareness Month allows the community to acknowledge and show their support for survivors and advocate for the end of cycle of abuse through education. And whereas a partnership of organizations has emerged to directly confront this crisis and are achieving success, the Marjorie Mason Center, along with law enforcement, healthcare providers, clergy, and concerned citizens, are helping in the effort to end domestic violence. We must recognize the compassion and dedication of these volunteers and professionals and increase public understanding of this important problem. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Fresno do hereby proclaim the month of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month and urge all citizens of Fresno to work together to end the cycle of violence in our community.
Thank you, Brianna. Let's give her a big hand. Everybody, thank you. And Nicole, it's yours. You get the final word.
Oh, I just want to say thank you so much. You have been a huge supporter of the Marjorie Mason Center, and it is because of this partnership with you as mayor, with the city council, and the entire city of Fresno that allows us to really combat this critical issue because it's going to take all of us. So thank you so much.
One more hand. Thank you.
Our next proclamation will be, and thank you to the mayor and to all, and our district attorney for being here. We now move to the next ceremonial presentation. This is Kaboom at Granny's Park Appreciation Day, and I'll be presenting the certificate. Well, the city of Fresno and the people who live here did a really great thing about 3 weeks ago. And it was part of a long process that really started with a tweet. And usually when I send a tweet, it does nothing but upset and inflame people. But in this particular case, I sent a tweet to a nonprofit organization, a national nonprofit called Kaboom. And what Kaboom is, it's a group that they solicit donations from major corporate sponsors, and then they will accept an application, and they will actually vet and qualify communities to put a playground. And so Kaboom will do the community organization, and they will supply the playground and all the equipment, but the community in which the playground is destined for actually has to step up and build the playground itself. And this is done on a build day that requires hundreds of people, everything from donated food to donated dumpsters to donated time and donated supplies, shovels, and it's really a community effort. So I sent this tweet to Kaboom because there's a neighborhood in the district I represent, District 7, right off of Blackstone near Manchester Center. And this neighborhood really is struggling with all the things that embody everything that we do here on the city council, things we're trying to combat, like drugs, prostitution, gangs, crime, stray animals, abandoned homes, slumlords. All those kinds of problems are actually embodied in this one neighborhood. So when Kaboom got my tweet, they became interested, and so then they asked if I would apply for it. So my office staff came together and we applied for it. We were selected, and so 3 weeks ago we actually built a playground in a park in a neighborhood that's struggling, and it cost the taxpayer nothing besides the initial the work that was done to make a place for the playground. And so it's something that we're very proud of, but it's not obviously it's a source of pride for me personally because it was something that we were able to accomplish, but the source of pride really is for the entire community. And everybody that came out, the little kids who came out to actually design the playground itself, and the parents who came out to help with that process. And I'm going to take a moment in the next few minutes to go down the list of all our community partners and individuals, everybody from big corporations to fraternities to our partners from American Ambulance, and the list goes on, but we wanted to make sure and recognize everyone publicly because this wasn't easy to pull off. It wasn't easy for our sponsors and our donors to give. It's not easy for folks to take a day off and show up, but everybody did it. It was for a great cause, and so I think the entire city of Fresno has a reason to be proud today. So we'll have a short video, and then we'll hand out the certificates. Is there a way that we can make this go up there? Oh, there we go. Is there music, or should I narrate it? Okay, I'll narrate it. All right. I was waiting for the song to start. Okay, so you can see that it was just a grass field, really. It's what we call a pocket park. It just didn't have any amenity at all. There's a basketball court out there. So what you see are the volunteers in the green shirts. Oh, there's me. And there's Yahira. Anyway, volunteers in the green shirts were able to... Some folks were assigned to building the playground itself, and others were assigned to build... we did picnic tables. We did play boxes, so the park could store balls and sporting goods. A couple of teams built the benches, and then we put this sign up. Here's our group picture at the ribbon cutting. But basically, where there was once just grass, this is what is there now. Our children who are playing, parents who are enjoying more quality time with their kids. There we go. Look at that. Tom, you shot that video. You'll meet
everybody
Tom
wave at your District 7 and your councilman. Wave and say thank you.
Oh, gee.
Thank you to the staff. Thank you to Kaboom.
Look at that.
Everybody wave and say thank you.
There.
Thank you, council. Thank you, city. Thank you, Kaboom. Thank you, 7-Up, Dr. Pepper. Thank you.
They
Thank
even provided
you.
The soccer goals were
Everywhere
provided by Kaboom.
Yeah, say that again. Look
yeah,
over there.
Sponsor was Dr. Pepper.
They're having picnics in the park.
We built those benches.
Families everywhere. Thank you,
That bench we
Alyssa.
built. Trash
Thank
cans.
you,
They built trash cans.
Yahira. Thank you, Councilman Olivier.
Staff, will you guys come
Thank
up?
you,
Help me.
7-Up Dr. Pepper / Snapple. Thank you. All the volunteers, thank you. Parks and Rec, thank you, good-hearted people.
Aw, Tom, you come up too. You guys come on up too. You can help me give these out. So what's so special about that is that sound, the sound of children playing there. That's just magical sound. You know what? The night before we started our build, there was a shooting on the street there in front of the playground, and it wasn't related to anything in the neighborhood. There were some people who drove in off Blackstone who didn't belong there, who were shooting at one another. Not related to that neighborhood, but imagine how we go from the sound of gunshots, 72 hours later, the sound of children playing. And we'll hear from Tom in just a second because he can talk to you about some of the pride that exists in that neighborhood, and it's only going to grow as we move through the future. So wanted to present some of these. Do you think, well, let's have you speak now and introduce your lovely wife. Tell us, Tom, this is Tom Sims. He is the director of 4141 Ministries, who actually adopted that park and that community center, who's actually doing outreach to that community and taking care of the park.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, thank you, members of council, for your support of this project and of your confidence in allowing us to, as 4141 Ministries, to operate the community center there. This is my wife, Andrea. She's our Chief Operating Officer at 4141 Ministries. Clint, I really appreciate you, your passion for the area. You've been there many, many times when there's been tragedies and when there have been opportunities. And your staff, Alexis and Alyssa, Yahira, have been some of the easiest people to work with on earth and the most joyful. Seeing this come together took me back a number of years. 21 years ago, I became engaged in that area for the first time. Vicki DeLone, who I think, is she still with the police department? Does anyone know? We thought she'd be chief by now. But Vicki was the pop officer for the area. And then after that, very soon, Ken Dodd, who I know is still with police department, had a passion for the neighborhood. And I remember standing out there with him one day, and he's looking around. He's saying, this neighborhood is third generation hopeless. We have to do something to bring them hope. And so there was a guy that lived in what was called the Amberway Apartments next door. His name was Ernie Burton. And Ernie didn't have too many good days, but the days he did have that were really good days, he spent on trying to engage the children and engage the neighbors and engage the police department and engage every elected official he could. And if you'd been here during Ernie's day, you would have known Ernie very, very well. He would have had your personal numbers and he would have been on the phone with you. Ernie wanted two things for the neighborhood. He wanted a safe place for back when it was really just dirt and it wasn't even owned by the city. He wanted a safe place for kids to play, a healthy place for kids to play, and he wanted it to be named for his mother, Granny Nan Burton. So he got Doug Lanier out there one day, and they hauled Granny out there, and he poured water over her and baptized her, and there's a stone there now marking the name of that park, Granny's Park. And Ernie would have been so happy to see what happened there. In the on and on, off again work that I've been able to do and tried to do in community development there has been a big problem, a big deficit is when a neighborhood's full of rental property, how do you instill in people a sense of ownership in the community? This is their park. This is their community. And that's been slowly happening. And that's been one of the gratifying things. And this gave it a shot in the arm. This has been a catalytic event in creating more of a sense of ownership. And I heard somebody today say, we've got to take care of this thing. We had a meeting with some people who are planning to do kind of a walk-through watch. Let's keep it clean. Let's make sure the kids, make room for the little kids to be on the playground. She said, yeah, we're going to take care of this park. I've got a lot of sweat in that park now. And that's the genius of passing on the responsibility of getting some of the work done. So thank you for engaging Kaboom. Thank you for engaging your wonderful staff And thank you for engaging your own life. And your own son came and was a part of that. Karsten had skin in the game. And Alicia. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
I want to say thank you to
thank
you, too. So this is really celebrate you and Andrea, and to say thank you to you. And so for all that you do, it's a small token, it's a certificate. But thank you for participating in the process. Thank you for being out there for those kids every day. Thank you for helping to revitalize a very important place in our city. So thanks. And we have some more certificates as well. Tom, if you would like, you can stay up to reconnect with some of the folks who were there on Build Day.
Great.
The first group would like to recognize is Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity. If you could come forward. Yeah, big round of applause. The certificates say the same thing. They say it is an honor to thank you for your work at Granny's Park and convey our deep gratitude for all your organization has done to help bring a playground to a neighborhood in desperate need. On behalf of the City of Fresno and the children that will play at Granny's Park, thank you for all of your efforts.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for coming out. Thank you. Our next certificate goes to Tony Hernandez. Tony, come forward. We don't have Tony today. Sarah Hamilton, come forward. Sarah is you're a recreation specialist, recreation community supervisor with our parks department, and Sarah is quite possibly our most spirited of our 3,500 employees at the City of Fresno. Thank you for your work. Thank you, Sarah, for being out there. Christopher Bernal, come on up, Chris. Thank you. Thank you very much. Sean Schaefer. Just a couple of words about Sean. Congrats. Sean was the person who basically, when I went to my staff and said, oh my God, they said, yes, you got to do something. We got to be ready in like 3 weeks. Sean was the guy who my staff turned around and went, oh my gosh, you got to do something. We got to be ready in 3 weeks. And so our friends from Parks were able to make that happen for us. And thank you for that. It's pretty cool out there, huh?
A great thing for our community.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. One of our community partners, Republic Services, Kyle Loretto, come forward. Republic is our solid waste provider in the north part of town, and thank you. And they donated the dumpsters out there for all of our construction trash. American Ambulance. Wanted to say about American, okay. Thank you. And I don't know if you know this, but your drivers, they came out, did you see them up there? Working, right? Working. They set up a first aid station. American sent an ambulance and 2 EMTs out there at their expense. That's not cheap. And these guys didn't just sit there waiting for somebody to nail their thumb or something. They actually were hauling bags of concrete and working hard. Now, I don't know if I just got them in trouble, but that was really good what they did, so thank you to them. Fresno Pacific Water Polo. You guys here? They're not here? Fresno Pacific Women's Water Polo Team? Okay. And our friends from PG&E. Matt, come on up. Hey. Thank you. All right. That's Matt Leedy from PG&E. PG&E had a whole team of folks out there And so thank you. Thank everybody back at the shop. If you're here and I call you, come on forward because we don't want to forget anyone. Fresno State Women's Water Polo, Fresno Grizzlies were out there with Parker. He did our warm-up exercise. Sal's Mexican Restaurant, Deli Delicious, the Train Depot Restaurant. Firefighters came out. Our Fresno City firefighters came out and barbecued and provided lunch on one of the preparation days, which was fantastic. And then the Fresno Rescue Mission. Okay, we would also like to thank our partners who could not be here today. Fresno State College Republicans, Smith Camp Honors College, On the Edge Coffee Shop, Blue Rock Concrete, DJ K. Rich, former Mayor Ashley Swearingen, and finally the Dr. Pepper Snapple Group and Kaboom. So enjoy it. Thank you. We want to be continued partners with you. If you need anything out there, we're going to be happy to be Johnny on the spot for you. So thank you both so much. Thank you all. I should thank also, if you three could stand up. This is Alyssa Stevens, Alexis Moran, and Yahaira Figueroa. And I just wanted to extend a special thanks to them. You went way beyond just doing your job. You made this happen. Everything from getting building permits to do this, to connecting with Tom, to getting donations, to, I mean, imagine calling someone, I need 350 sandwiches by next Tuesday, or whatever it was. And my staff made it happen. And Alyssa, with a very special asterisk by Alyssa for being our project manager. But Yahaira, Alexis, fantastic work, and thank you all for, they did go above and beyond to make this happen for their neighbors and for all of our neighbors. So thank you again so very much.
And now we have a proclamation presented by Oliver Baines and Paul Capriolo, National Day on Writing.
All right. Well, listen, this is my 4th or 5th year that I've had the pleasure to be able to present the National Proclamation on Writing. And it's very interesting because we write every day. I wrote a note to Paul earlier today. He's not going to tell anybody what it says, and you all write to each other. And can you imagine what life would be like if you couldn't write to each other? I mean, so we do this activity every day. We write and we read, but we really couldn't imagine what our lives would be like without the ability to have the written language. So it really is with a lot of honor and pride that we're able to actually present this proclamation today. And I'm going to let my partner in crime, Councilmember Capriolo, offer a couple words too.
He's the leader in the criminal activities, and I'm just a follower.
Come
anyway,
on,
thank
guys. Criminal activities.
You're part of it, so.
Oh, no.
Anyway, thank you, Councilmember, for letting me be part of the ceremony. And I made a few notes here, and it's an honor for me to present this proclamation to some of my favorite people and the jewel of Fresno State, all the people that write down here in front. So I'll have you guys come up in a minute, if you will. No? You don't want to? And us too. Oh, yes. Oh, we're going to have a party. That's what we're going to do. We have everybody up here. So, we're here to celebrate the importance of writing, and we want to emphasize, I want to get this straight, the importance of writing instruction and practice at every grade level. So as an attorney, I know the importance of writing because good writing is winning. And as an attorney, when you write something, it's not only for the judge, but the other attorney gets to see how well prepared you are, how well written you are, and they know they're in trouble. So to me, writing is not just essential, it's critical mass in my profession and in our profession as city leaders as well. So, and I want to take the opportunity to thank all my English teachers. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here today. There's many of them, trust me. So back to you, Member Baines.
All right. There's a slight bit of confusion. We actually have 2 proclamations. So why don't both groups come down to receive your proclamations on National Day on Writing? Come on. I think we have we have our group right here that's for the San Joaquin Valley Writing Project. And I also know, Cap, you have a proclamation.
Well, they actually combined ours.
Did they combine it all?
Yeah.
Well, aren't they? They're much better than we are. So every year we get a chance to have this proclamation for the National Day on Writing for the San Joaquin Valley Writing Project, and I would love for you to offer a few words.
Thank you so much. So, as you said, writing is part of what we do every day, and San Joaquin Valley Writing Project, it's the local site of the California Writing Project and the National Writing Project. There's over 200 sites nationwide, and we are committed to improving the teaching and learning of writing in all classrooms, K University. And so we take time on the National Day of Writing to just celebrate the reasons why we write and to think about, the role writing plays in our lives every day. So thank you so much for this proclamation. It's really an honor to be here today.
Hello, my name is Dr. Reva Sias. I'm here with Dr. Thomas McLamara. I'm here to accept the proclamation on behalf of Fresno State. So allow me to read. To Mayor Brand, to our councilman, and distinguished guests. My name is Dr. Reva Sias. On behalf of our president, Joseph Castro, our Arts and Humanities Dean, Saul Jimenez Sandoval, our English Department Chair, Lisa Weston, and the CSU faculty and staff, we thank the Council for this proclamation for the National Day on Writing. The National Day on Writing celebrates writing and literacy practices in all forms, whether writers are K through 12, higher education, and adult learners, lifelong learners. October 20th is the day that commemorates the National Day on Writing. It is a day commemorated by the Council of Teachers of English to recognize the importance of writing. Celebrations that recognize writing are taking place all across North America, specifically in the United States, at churches, community centers, libraries, and universities and schools.
And Fresno City Hall.
And Fresno City Hall. So the Rhetoric and Writing Studies program in the English department want to add our voices and our celebration to this event. So our day of recognition is tomorrow at 11 o'clock, and you're all invited. We'd like to especially thank the Councilman Baines, right, and Caprio for sponsoring this bill. So we hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Would you read our proclamation, please?
Whereas the social nature of writing invites people in every walk of life, in every kind of work, and at every age and profession to create meaning through composing. And whereas the National Council of Teachers of English, in conjunction with its many national and local partners, including the San Joaquin Valley Writing Project and the California State University of Fresno, celebrates the importance of writing through the designation of a National Day on Writing, which occurs this year on Friday, October 20th, 2017. And whereas the National Day on Writing celebrates the fundamental place of writing in Americans' personal, professional, and civic lives, and emphasizes the importance of writing instruction and practice at every grade level and in every subject area from preschool through postgraduate education. And whereas newly developing digital technologies expand the possibilities for composing in multiple media at a faster pace than ever before. The National Day on Writing honors the use of the full range of media from composing, from traditional tools like print, audio, and video to Web 2.0 tools like blogs, wikis, and podcasts. And whereas the San Joaquin Valley Writing Project encourages San Joaquin Valley residents to write, enjoy, and learn from the writing of others. And whereas, with the National Day on Writing celebration, the faculty at California State University, Fresno encourages all Californians to write, enjoy, and learn from the writing of others, and emphasizes the lifelong practice of writing for different communities, cultures, audiences, purposes, and academic, political, social actions. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, Mayor Lee Brand, and the members of the Fresno City Council strongly affirm the purposes of National Day on Writing, encourage participation in the National Gallery of Writing, and do hereby declare Friday, October 20th as National Day on Writing.
And I just wanted to take a moment. Some great people are right here in the second row. They're all shaking their heads. Don't do it, Cap. Don't do it. But these are Fresno State current and future leaders. So if you all stand up, and we'll give you a round of applause because you are the future of Fresno and Fresno City Council. So, Larry, you too. Come on, Larry. Thank you guys. Tara, come on. Yes. I know you're getting old. It's hard to get up. I know. No, thank you guys for being here. Thank you.
Larry, would you like to come forward, please? Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Council President Olivier. Good afternoon, members of the Council. My name is Larry Salinas. I'm the Executive Director of Governmental Relations at Fresno State in the Office of the President. And as I was sitting there, I thought, hey, I just saw the Chevron doer guy, and that was pretty cool. I hadn't seen him before. But I want to talk about another set of doers. I want to talk about our students real quickly. And as you guys are up here week in and week out deliberating tough issues, tough situations in the city of Fresno, there's a bright spot in our community, and Councilmember Capriolo pointed it out just a moment ago in the recognition, but that is our students. 25,000 strong at Fresno State. I'm delighted to be able to be here with a few of our student leaders, our student body president Blake Zante, and our vice president Demi Wack, and Edgar Castro, no relation to the president, although he likes to claim that, and our ASI student advisors, Tara Powers-Mead and Ashley Rocker. And they would like to come up and make just brief comments on behalf of ASI and the student body at Fresno State. So take a close listen, Councilman Capriolo.
All right. Well, good afternoon, council members. Thank you for allowing us to come up here and speak today. On behalf of the students of Fresno State ASI is here to present a special recognition to our very own Councilman Paul Capriolo and his District 4 staff. Councilman Capriolo, we want to sincerely thank you for your support all these years that you've demonstrated towards Fresno State and its students. You are an example of somebody who deeply cares about your community and exemplify what it means to be a leader. You have helped us in so many ways. We also want to acknowledge the partnership and support between the Fresno Police Department, all of the different community partners that help Fresno State, and Mayor Lee Brand as well. And thank you for your service and your friendship, and hope you're surprised. So, yeah, come on down.
Totally, I knew something was up. When I saw you guys, I couldn't quite figure it out. And you guys hold it together real well, because I'm about not to hold it together, because this is such a surprise and it means so much to me, and just inspires me, and I hope my colleagues to continue to give back to the community and continue to give back to the university. And I'm an alumni and all that stuff, and graduated in 1822, according to the mayor. But I will forever be there, and forever thankful and grateful for letting me be part of your team. So you guys are the best. I mean that. Round of applause for Mike. Congratulations. Here you go. Harry, come on over here. You're a culprit too.
Thank you all. That now concludes our ceremonial presentations. We move now to the approval of the minutes from October 12th, 2017. Are there any council members who have any changes they wish to make to the minutes? Okay, at this time, the chair will entertain a motion to approve. We have a motion and a second. The screen is clear. Is there any opposition? The motion carries unanimously. Thank you, council. We move now to consent calendar. Are there any council members who wish to remove items from the consent calendar? Member Soria?
I'd like to remove 1E just for a purpose of making a comment.
1A?
No, 1E.
1E? Oh, I did. We'll have to come back to it. You got something to say? Okay, so the screen is clear. No one else wishes to remove anything. What we'll do is go out to the public at this time. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on any item that's contained in the consent calendar? If so, please come forward. Okay, seeing no one, we'll close public comment, return to City Council with item 1E removed. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the balance of the consent calendar. We have a motion and a second. The screen is clear. Is there any opposition? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Council. We move now to item 1E, approved memorandum of understanding, and this is Department of Public Utilities.
And I just removed it just for purpose of making a brief comment. I'm in strong support of this item. I believe that this item really exemplifies the city of Fresno being a great neighbor and a great partner when we're talking about water quality issues that impact this region. And when we have children that are within our sphere of influence that don't have access to safe drinking water, that is a problem. And so I'm glad that the city of Fresno stepped up, found an opportunity when we all voted back in February of 2015 for our water infrastructure project. And so I think that this is exciting. This is an issue that I used to work on when I was in Sacramento advocating for access to safe drinking water. So I am very proud to be part of the council that has supported this effort. And that means that a lot of little kids in the Orange School District will have access to safe drinking water in the very soon future. Thank you. So I'll make a motion.
I'll go ahead and second. We have a motion and a second. The screen is clear. Is there any opposition to this, to the motion? Okay, item carries unanimously. Thank you, Council. We now move on to scheduled council hearings. The 210 item, hearing to consider conditional use permit. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys want to talk. All right, we'll do, I skipped council member reports and comments. Never do that. So... wow, they're all punching up too. Member Capriolio, you go first.
Thank you. And I want to thank the ASI. That was totally, my chief of staff knew, of course, and I didn't. And I'm so appreciative of those people. They're just the best. And I almost cried, but we held it together. So, but I do want to say thank you to Sergeant Landon of the Fresno State Police Department, as well as Detective Kim. They are fantastic. They're working in the El Dorado Park area, and they go above and beyond the call of duty. And it's officers like that that make a huge difference in our community and reaching out to our residents. Also, a huge thank you to John DeLucia from the Copy Center. His quality and detail to work is incredible, so thank you, sir. And then we were out walking the neighborhood on Augusta Monday, and it was really, really refreshing. As council members, we get a lot of calls from our constituents. They're not always in a positive vein, but when we were out there on Monday, there were so many positive comments and so many comments of appreciation because we paved about a mile in front of the school there, just south of Fresno Street. So again, thank you to everybody involved. The street team is fantastic. Scott, Brian, you guys take such excellent care of our city. I have a request here. We're going to be walking Sierra Madre. That's 1 block south of Shaw between Maple and Gettysburg on Monday the 23rd and Wednesday the 25th. And we're going to survey the neighborhood and talk to everybody involved there. And this is one of the projects we've been working together with ASI and the city of Fresno and Fresno State. So we need, here's the ask, we need translators. If you can translate the Spanish language or the Hmong language, we'd appreciate your presence there. And give us a call, 621-7844, 621-7844, if you can volunteer to help us, it'd be great. It won't take a lot of time, but it would be really critical for us to have everybody's input so we can make that area the best possible we can. So, and the last thing, Steve Brandow, you and I in particular, and the other alums up here for Fresno State, Bulldogs are taking on San Diego State in San Diego this Saturday, so go Dogs. Well, we're 3-0, right? So let's keep the momentum going. The momentum is based upon all of you out there and your support of the Fresno State Bulldogs. Thank you.
Thanks, Council President. Really quickly, I just wanted to report to Council some good news. So last night in the Planning Commission approved the Southwest Pacific Plan 7-0, and they also approved the Darling Development and Disposition Agreement 6-1. So stand by. We are moving very positive things forward in Southwest Fresno.
Member Soria and then Member Brandow.
Thank you, Council President. Just quickly, I have a couple of announcements. First, I want to give a special thanks to a number of city staff that were instrumental in making the Tower District neighborhood cleanup that we had this past Saturday. We had over 100 volunteers come out to help beautify the neighborhood. We cleaned up graffiti, picked up trash, steam cleaned sidewalks, and repainted curbs. Special thanks to folks from Public Works, Scott Mosier, Brian Russell, Jet Lim, Jerry Schruber from Utilities, and then Tony Hernandez from Parks. Obviously, without your contributions and your help to my staff, this day wouldn't have been successful. So I want to thank you guys for all your help, and obviously all our volunteers. We had about 100. We had small business owners out there helping us. So just very grateful for the entire community coming together to take pride in our neighborhood. Also, just wanting to remind folks, give an update. I've been having a budget. Participatory budget process within District 1. Community residents have gone involved over the last few months. We have about 20 projects that have been submitted, so very exciting. Over the next few weeks, we will have an opportunity for residents from District 1 to vote on the top projects, and then in the next 6 months, hopefully get those projects completed within our district. So just very excited and having community participation. Two other things that I just wanted to mention. I do have 2 of my new interns that are watching the council meeting. They're in the back. So Ignacio Barbosa, he's a student at UC Davis, one of my alma maters. And also Alexandra Sanchez, she's a Fresno State student. Very excited to have them on board. As many of you may know, I love interns. In the last 3 years, I've had a series of 16 interns come through my office. This semester, I have 5 young people helping us, and so I just want to thank them and recognize them. If you guys can just stand up and wave, but they just come on board this week, so we're excited for them. Lastly, I wanted to see if we could adjourn, and I already mentioned this to the council president, adjourn in the memory of Raman Newsom. Last night, my team had the opportunity to attend his vigil. We were there in support of the family, the friends, but we did lose this young man on this past Friday, October the 13th. Very young man, 21 years of age. He's a student of the local conservation corps, was about to graduate. There was a really sad story covered by the media about this young man, but I hope that we take this moment to really continue thinking about the issues that we have to address in our community to combat violence and alleviate poverty, which really impacts these types of issues. So we would be adjourning in his memory this afternoon. Thank you.
All right, I'm up next, Council President. All right, I think everybody's aware that we're having a huge event downtown Fresno this Saturday, right? Yeah, correct? Wrong, not the opening of the Fulton Street. It is the Make a Difference Day at Chickchansey Park. And so that's when we have about 3,000 kids and families come out and play soccer. We serve food to everybody. We have about 70 teams this year. We let young kids like ages 4 to 6 come play in the stadium setting. We take pictures, we give them medals, and we feed them. And just a great chance for them to experience what it's like to play in that stadium and encourage them to continue great activities like that. And then at the conclusion of Make a Difference Day, I think we'll head over and be a part of the opening of the Fulton Mall. So 2 great things happening in downtown Fresno. If anybody'd like to volunteer, my staff and I start about 6 in the morning, but you can show up anytime during the day. We always need help with reservations, registration, and serving food, and all kinds of fun things involved with the kids. So anybody's welcome to volunteer. Just come down to Chick-Chansey Park anytime that you'd like on Saturday. Thank you.
I forgot one award. Ed Dunkel, will you please come forward to be recognized? Surprise. Yay. Now, earlier, before you came in, we recognized everyone that helped us with Granny's Park. And he says it's nothing, but let me tell you how meaningful that was. Here's your certificate, and then you have to pose up. What Ed provided, his firm did all the engineering work for us. And again, if you were here for the original presentation, we were on a very, very, very tight schedule. Ed stepped up, provided that service at no cost to us. Thank you for doing the engineering on that. A little bit earlier, we had a video that was shot of children playing on a playground where there once was just a grass and dirt field. And because of your efforts and your bailing us out at the last minute and helping us accomplish this, there are children who are playing. There is a neighborhood that is building pride, a neighborhood that is beginning to revitalize, in part, big thanks to you and your people over there. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And surprise. Okay. We have some other timed items that we can get. Let's start with the 210 item. This is a hearing to consider conditional use permit application, Development and Resource Management Department.
Good afternoon, Council President, Council members. Philip Seegers with the Development and Resource Management Department. This afternoon, you'll be considering conditional use permit application number C-1779, which was filed by Ken Vang of Precision Engineering on behalf of George Beal. The 2007 aerial photograph shows that the subject property is approximately 0.87 acres located on the northwest corner of East Jensen Avenue and State Highway 99. It's currently planned and zoned for heavy industrial uses, and it's also currently vacant, and the property is also predominantly surrounded by other heavy industrial uses. This subject application is a request to establish the State of California Type 20 alcohol license for a future proposed Johnny Quick convenience store and service station. That would allow the applicant to sell beer and wine for consumption off the premises. And again, this application is for the alcohol use only. Development of the future proposed Johnny Quick would come under a separate entitlement later. This project does not meet the location restrictions. There's 4 locations pursuant to the Fresno Municipal Code Section 152706E, as it would be located within 500 feet of another establishment. It would be located within a high crime area, and it would be located in an area of high concentration of alcohol licenses. The director and the planning commission were unable to make findings for exception from the location restrictions. And the director and the planning commission were unable to make the required conditional use permit findings A and C pursuant to Municipal Code Section 155306. Therefore, staff continues to recommend denial of conditional use permit application C-1779. However, should the City Council approve the ABC license, the Council should make three of the following. They should make the exception to the location restrictions, amend the findings A and C, and adopt the environmental finding prepared for the project. That concludes staff's presentation, and I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
At this time, we'll go out to the public. Are there any members of the public who wish to address the council on this agenda item? If so, please come forward. Give us your name and address for the record, and you'll have 2 minutes.
My name is George Beal. My address is 1175 Shaw Avenue, Clovis. Mr. Council President, members of the City Council, I'm asking for the approval of a conditional use permit to sell beer and wine at Jensen and 99. This property is nearly an acre in size. In the census tract, there's 2 Type 20 licenses allowed. There currently are 7. 4 licenses exist on the east side of Highway 99. One is south of Jensen on the west side, and the other one is down on Annadale. The other licenses are on the west of Elm that are not in this census tract. We propose to put in an automobile customer-friendly type of operation, a Johnny Quick food store, a Dunkin' Donuts type operation, Chevron gasoline. The businesses that are located there right now are generally truck stop oriented. The one south of the proposed location we're doing is a truck stop with scales and things of this nature. Staff said they had pictures in there. You can see the heavy concentration of trucks on the site. On the east side, there's a Shell station. They primarily sell the cars, but they have a little kiosk inside that sells cigarettes and tobacco and things of this nature. Next to them is another couple of truck stops. So we think the truck stop business is pretty well taken care of there. Now we want to take care of the automobile travelers. This property has been vacant for over 15 years. What makes this property unique is the level of traffic. Highway 99 carries about 113,000 cars a day. Jensen Avenue carries 30,000 cars a day, and the off-ramp to the east of our property line right there carries 10,000 cars a day, so you have 153,000 cars a day going through the intersection. The census tract to the north is California. To the east...
Mr. Beal, I'm sorry, your time is up.
Oh, my time is up.
But what we'll do then is Councilmember Baines will call you back up. Unless
okay.
you want to do that right now? Okay. All right. Let me. I'll take more public comment, and then Councilmember Baines can call you back up to finish.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address council? Please come forward. Give us your name and address for the record, and then you'll have 2 minutes. Bill, we'll get you next. No, you're not Bill. Come on forward. Mary Esther, come on. Please give us your name and address for the
Mary
record.
Esther Korea,
and then you'll have 2
3407
minutes.
East Iowa, Fresno, Cal. The City Council, others, I wrote this in a rough draft, so I'm so sorry, English, but I hope you can read it. I send you out anyways.
Yeah.
I only have 3 minutes, so I'll hurry up. I'll read
Miss
it as much as I
Korea,
can. Yes.
This is not your scheduled appearance coming up in.
Oh, I thought you said you called me up. Okay, well, I was, yeah, I was
No,
supposed to be.
I was calling for
know.
people on the
Oh,
the
well,
210 item.
Yeah, well, you surprised me because you called my name, and then I'm supposed to be on the schedule for 2:50, but that's okay.
Going up, Bill. Give us your name and address for the record, And you'll have 2 minutes.
My name is Bill Bonnell. I own the Arco AM/PM gasoline station at 2590 South Cherry, which is right down the street from this, so just for full disclosure. I'm not here on behalf of myself, but on behalf of APCA, of which I'm a board member, and I'm going to Reedley right after this in the same capacity, and I spoke against Mr. Beal's other site on Shaw, which is miles away from this. But at any rate, this thing's been reviewed by the Planning Commission, by the planner who recommended against it because of some of the rules that we're trying to establish in Esmeralda and Oliver's new bill. And this area is oversaturated by 350%. It's not one license over or two license overs, it's 5 license over. 2 are allowed, 7 are there. The truck stop that he's mentioning across the street from it isn't really a truck stop. It's a gasoline convenience store that has a truck fueling satellite facility outside of it, and that fueling facility is literally on another parcel. There's also a Shell station right across the freeway from him, and a gasoline station on one side and a truck fueling facility on the other side, as well as about 12 different fast food feeders around there. So none of the things they're going to provide are going to be anything new. Having said all that, I supported the idea of building this station, and it will impact my business because having a Chevron on the same side of the street as my business will hurt. The only thing that we as an association are fighting against is the concept of, you guys are talking about limiting our CUP licenses and so forth. This would just be making the situation worse in an area that has already got horrible problems. In fact, there was 11 pages of incidents from the police report. Normally when you guys hear something like this, there's a page and a half, whatever, of prostitution, assaults, all kinds of stuff. The homeless man was killed at that intersection right next to the Chevron off-ramp that he wants to build. And we're just simply asking that we don't make things worse. If you guys are considering a bill to help clean things up, let's not make it worse now and then have more to clean up down the road. Thank you. The head planner signed a letter on the 18th denying it, and also one last thing, and then it was unanimously denied by the Planning Commission. Most cities don't even have their city councils spend their time discussing something that was unanimously opposed. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on this agenda item? Please come forward. Seeing no one, we'll close public comment, return to council. This item is located in District 3, Member Baines. And also, and then you can call it Mr. Beal. Officially, there is no time limit for the applicant, so you can take as much time as you would like to explain that.
Yeah, and
my apology.
George, I used my time to call you back up if you wanted to finish making your remarks for a couple more minutes. But I think you're close to the end of your remarks.
Thank you.
Okay.
As I was saying, the census tract is on the north is located is bordered by California. On the west is Elm. On the east is Railroad, and the south is Annandale. But this is kind of a unique area. It's virtually totally industrial. There are 868 houses in this census tract. 246 are owner-occupied. 448 are rented, and 73 are vacant. It is estimated that there are 6,000 to 7,000 people that work in this census tract, and the area is completely changing to industrial. And I think, you know, with the census tract that large, and you only have 800 homes, and 25% are owned, owner-occupied, and 75% are rented, kind of gives you an idea the transition is going on. By approving the CUP, it does not increase the Type 20 licenses in Fresno. There's only so many out there, and what we have to do is we have to get one from another census tract that is not being used, and probably 10% of the licenses in the license count are not used. They're on the shelf. People have closed up. That's the only way you can get a license in Fresno, within the city of Fresno, is buy one that somebody has on the shelf that retired and closed their business. I ask for you to approve my CUP. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, George.
Thank you.
So I appealed the Planning Commission's decision on this because I took a look, and I understand from the staff perspective, and maybe even to some degree a Planning Commissioner's perspective, why they would deny this. because, as one of the speakers said, it when it comes to ABC permits in this area, it is oversaturated by the definition of the law. That in fact is true. There is an oversaturation of liquor licenses in the area, except that when you kind of begin to peel back the idea of oversaturation, what it's about, it's based off of the population that you have in a certain census tract. Well, this area is almost completely industrial. There are very few homes in this census tract. I mean, they're particularly on the west side of the freeway, and most of the residents are much further to the west. So what we kind of have here is, according to the letter of the law, it's correct. So I don't want to, I'm going to recommend, my recommendation is going to be to approve the CUP, which is going to be against staff's recommendation, but I wanted everyone to understand that staff did their job and they interpreted, in my opinion, the law, the ordinance as it's supposed to be interpreted. But I think it's our job to maybe look a little bit deeper and to figure out what's really going on. And in this situation, I don't think that this is an abuse of a liquor license. I think that given what's in the area already, with it being almost completely industrial, but for a few residences to the west, and most of the residences are much further to the west of there, but it's the way that the census tract is drawn that makes the oversaturation appear the way that it does. So the idea of a convenience store placed, a gas station and convenience store placed right off of a freeway, it makes sense. This is a freeway right there. It's going to be next to the freeway. I think the opportunity to offer beer and wine right there is in line with the rest of the gas stations and convenience stores in the area. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the CUP plus the CEQA categorical exemption, and I'm going to also our local restriction. I'm going to cite item C. The proposed outlet for the off-premises sale of alcoholic beverages would act as a public convenience, et cetera. So I make a motion to approve the item.
All right. What was that? Yes. You know, Councilman Baines, I was interested to see what your take was going to be. You know that I went through a very similar situation, although circumstances different, a couple of weeks ago. And when I was studying the request for a liquor license in an intersection in District 2, I kind of, for the first time, tore into this idea of the liquor licenses and the census tracts. And it was very, to me, I'm not even sure that the census tract is the proper way to keep track of liquor licenses. It was very skewed in my district, which council will remember us talking about, but we had, quote, an overabundance of liquor sellers in this certain census tract, but it was because the census tract reached over and grabbed Shaw Avenue, and so that we had like 13 liquor stores that were connected to the census tract, but further out in the neighborhood where the applicant was, it was much fewer liquor sellers or people with license to sell. So I just noted, what's that? It's just weird that we have the census tract thing going on, and then our staff, of course, works within those parameters, so their suggestions are usually in line with that demand because it follows a census tract. But when you get out there in reality, in the real world, it's very disconnected from that census tract. And so I just want to make that comment. And I waited to see what your rationale was, but you feel like there's an exemption to the rule you stated, number C, is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, Councilmember, and thank you. You took it a step further. I too looked at the census tract, and it's very similar. The census tract is kind of long and weirdly shaped, and it pulls in some residences way far down the road that aren't really connected to that particular site or community, and the residences are kind of out of line. So I completely agree with that. I'm not even sure the census tract is the best way to measure it. But with that being the case, I want to make sure that staff understands that we understand.
Yeah.
We know that they are supposed to take the ordinances and evaluate it exactly as they did. So I don't think staff did anything wrong in this situation. I just think, in this case, the census tract and the way that it looked, it didn't quite line up.
Right. But you have
Jennifer, did you want to make a comment?
Councilmember, I wanted to clarify the census tract issue. So the state of California actually establishes that.
Right.
Liquor licenses and alcohol permits are established based on population per census tract by the state. And so the over-concentration that we use is based on a report that the state provides us. And that's why we have other mechanisms within our code to either approve or deny, not necessarily based on that, because you're right, census tract boundaries are typically very odd because they try to keep them with the same number of population within each one.
Right.
So that's really why it's
Right.
odd.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I recognize,
And
but
it gets really weird when you have mostly a business district. So this district is mostly industrial and business, and they go out really far to bring in residences in order to have some continuity between other census tracts. But it just kind of disconnects the reality of what that neighborhood from the census tract. So anyway, thank you for the clarification, Jennifer.
Well, Councilman, when you make it to Sacramento, maybe you can make an adjustment.
Oh, you don't have to worry about me.
Well, I've got other. Do you want to chime in on that?
Yeah,
part?
I just want to chime in on that part because I think I just checked in with the city attorney, and I think that that's per our rules and the limitations that we created as policy. So I think that there may be an opportunity that we can modify what we're trying to get to. I think that there is an issue of concentration when we're talking about neighborhoods and schools and so forth. So I think that there may be an opportunity where we can revisit to really attack the issue that we're trying to resolve with alcohol that we've spoken before. So I don't think we necessarily have to use census tracts per the city attorney. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. The council could change that.
Is that just one of our own self-imposed criteria?
In the municipal code, yes.
In the municipal code. All right, well, I'd be interested in changing that because it didn't make sense to me. And then it brings up a lot of people's expectations, and those who oppose a project like this, they point to that census tract information, but a lot of times it doesn't connect with what's happening out there in the real world. But Councilman Baines, I'm sure it's your neck of the woods, and I'm going to be supporting this. So, all right, thank you.
The screen is clear. There is. You wish to speak?
Yes, I just wanted to, first say Mr. Beal always constructs great projects. So you always do a good job, and I recognize that. But on the other hand, I think we are sending mixed messages to our staff, and they're working within the parameters of what's been given to them, and then we have these exceptional situations that come up. So I don't know that it's fair to them to put them on one task and then have them come forward with a different result, if you will, but their task is well performed and they're right on. So I really think we need to clean this up and fix it so we're not wasting staff's time going one direction when the consensus and the rules state a different.
Let me completely concur with you, Councilmember Capriolio. I didn't mean to jump in on your time, but you're right. And Councilmember Brandow and Esmeralda and Councilmember Soria brought it up. I think we should probably do that because it isn't fair to staff. They're actually doing the work the right way according to the laws that we make, and it puts them at a disadvantage in a situation like this. So I completely agree. Whether we get a little subcommittee together or something, I don't think it's going to be too difficult to fix, but I think we need to do it so we can make sure that they're not wasting their time. So
look into some options on how to fix that system, whether it's changing the municipal code or.
Director Clark, you have an opinion on that?
Jennifer, what do you think?
Councilmember Baines and the council addressed and looked at introducing a change in the development code related to alcohol licenses. We will go back to ABC. It is in the ABC state code that we cannot issue unless the city finds an exception for an area of overconcentration. So it is in the state code, and we replicated it into the development code because of that. So what we would say is we'll continue to work with your office to identify ways that we can look at. That's why we looked at how far it is away from sensitive receptors, how close it is to other uses, but we're finding that there are some rubs there as well. But we'll keep looking at it. I think I have some some ideas. We are the licenses are based on the county. So the county of Fresno is over-concentrated per state ABC. So Mr. Bale was correct. He has to get his license from somewhere within the county, not necessarily the city of Fresno. One of the things that we've talked about is limiting those license purchases to just within the city of Fresno. So we start to spread the concentration a little more evenly across the community so everyone has access and it's more fair in the community. There are a lot of different ways to look at it, and so we'll continue to work with you and your staff and the council to identify different solutions. Right now, essentially, we're trying to be very, very fair and consistent when applications come in. If we cannot find that it meets our location restrictions, we either deny immediately and ask for the applicant to appeal, or we ask them if they would just like to go to Planning Commission. And Planning Commission, in many cases, will evaluate, they'll tweak, they'll look at it from a different angle, and then sometimes the applicant or staff would like for the council to look at those as well. So we're trying to be very consistent in our application of the rules that are currently there, but we'll continue to work with you to find a way to make it easier to process these applications and make it more fair across the community.
Yeah, you know, Jennifer, so what happens at the Planning Commission is the Planning Commission goes, wow, the staff of the city of Fresno is saying no, this must be a no, you know. And then really almost everybody that opposes the project uses your initial report, right? And they go, well, look at your own staff is saying no. The Planning Commission is saying the staff of Fresno is saying no. Then it forces an appeal. Councilman Capriolio is correct. A lot of waste of your time, actually the Planning Commission's time, because it's going to come back here anyway. And so I think we really do need to clean up just for the time thing.
No, I do too, and I will differ with you a little bit. I actually do think we should talk about it with staff a little bit more. So I think they need to understand, like, there are situations where we have legitimate oversaturation. I mean, that does exist in Fresno. And so we don't want to be ignorant to that.
Sure.
But we also need to have some outs where there can be a different type of evaluation when it's a situation where it's really not impacting neighborhoods and those sensitive receptors like Jennifer said. So I think that there's a way we can get there, but it does require a little bit of thought. And I don't even think a whole lot. I think we can think about this a little bit, and we can probably get there so that we are giving staff we aren't sending them mixed messages.
Yeah, and I think it's got to do with connecting it to the development code, following the state of California. We got to disconnect from the census tract thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's vote on this today, though.
Yeah.
We all agree.
No, we got it.
Thank you, Jennifer. We all and staff, thank you for your work too. And again, this is not a reflection on in my opinion, at least, on the work that you all did. We certainly get it.
Member Bradefeld.
Yes. Do we have police department here regarding this? No?
I don't believe so. I know we contacted them. Go ahead.
They were supposed to be. I don't think they're in attendance today.
Okay, because I have questions in the report. It says the. Oh.
They may be outside.
Okay. Okay, so, I mean, I'm left with some questions related to what they said. They had provided conditions addressing compliance with the municipal code limiting noise and unlawful nuisance, compliance with ABC rules and employee education, video camera surveillance, limitation on alcohol types and servings, and limitations on on-site alcohol consumption and loitering. They said that the police department, their opposition would be withdrawn with those conditions placed on the issuance of the alcohol license. Do we know if that is part of this process, that if those limitations are placed, the applicant will accept those limitations? Yeah, come up here.
Yes, I do.
So you would accept all the limitations that the police department has put on you in terms of their rescinding their opposition?
Yes, I agree with them.
Okay.
I accept all of them.
That's what I wanted to know. Okay, thank you.
Is that part of the motion, Councilmember Baines?
Yeah, well, when we accept the CUP, we have to accept the CUP with the police department's conditions. So that's part of accepting the approving the CUP.
Okay. The screen is clear. Let's go ahead and vote electronically on this item. Item carries with one absent. It carries 5-1. Thank you, Council. Thank you, staff. Move now to the 215 item, appearance by Mr. Mois Gisrel Crawford to request the City of Fresno build homes for the homeless. Please come forward. Give us your name and address for the record, please, and then you'll have you prepared for 3 minutes. So you have 3 minutes.
Yes. It says Mois Gisrel Crawford, 729 North Fisher, Fresno, California, 93702. All right. Well, I'd like to kind of, just introduction on myself a little bit. You know, I'm 33. I recently graduated, so right now I'm also starting up a CEO at KM Entertainment. It's a media company, and also a nonprofit, which is Xolution. I'm actually getting a lot of my tutelage from Poverello. I've been doing that for the last 6 years, just volunteering, understudy, picking their brains, and I've been working with Jessica, and I'm about to get some things started by next year. All right. Okay. What I call what I'm about to speak about is it's called it's pretty much like the hobo hotel clause, and what I mean by that is two things happening. One, we got a revolving lockup for a couple days door for homeless people, and they get right back out, and they don't have a plan with a ticket in their pocket to pay another fine, which they're not going to pay, which puts them in that same cycle. And then also the second part is the mentality that the officers have to get when they have to deal with people, because it's taking their person out of them, because now they just gotta look at someone that maybe not even bad. They might just be tired today, but he might think he's homeless, and now he has to run up and harass this person out of their liberty. So that's kind of what I'm kind of speaking on as far as unrest. And it's we have a non-cohesive branch of authority in Fresno County, more specifically the city, being that the three elements that makes this profit run fundamentally intended are do things by the law and guidelines, show diplomacy in time of civil rest, and have faith in the people in power that they're doing good works. All chains of this trinity is broken right now in the consciousness of the people in all statuses and colors of life in one way or another. It varies, but everyone has their factors in this issue. And saying that means that there is a solution out there that fits all. So that's the overall issue. And me having my recent PhD recipient in galactic systematic theology, I like to solve problems from the core out. And our core and our heart for the city is our homeless, our disabled, our behavioral and mental health, and our struggling tax-paying immigrants. This is our heart. And we currently wage civil war against our homeless people. We have immediate shutdowns of facilities with no relocation or settlement placement. Our homeless, okay.
Thank you for your comments.
All right, and not just to quickly sum it up, is that I would like to make myself available for any processing and moving forward, because I'm actually trying to be a positive in this, because some people have a feeling that, you know, the city might feel like they're being attacked, and that leaves people feeling like they have to be at wits, and martial law should not be a way we go.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for coming today. Thank you. Our next speaker will be an appearance by Mary Esther Correa to discuss the code enforcement fines she has incurred. Please come forward, give us your name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes.
Mary Esther Correa, 340 Fresno, California. Anyways, the code enforcement they violated my civil rights. I live in my property, and I've been here 8 months. Good thing now I'm registered to vote here, which I am going to do. I'm getting our community together to make a difference. Okay, so we have had a lot of tenants that scamming and they don't want to pay. They trash my place. The police can't do nothing. I do the best I can. All I do is come and spend my retirement money to fix the place, and the same thing go over and over and over again. And now the city code is finding me for I do my best, and everything's fixed, and then I get a tenant, they trash it again. Try again and again and again, and nobody does nothing. And I have to pay to do my repairs, because the insurance, if I get them to fix, then they cancel the insurance, and then I'm out of. Anyway, so I'm a senior disabled citizen, and I'm on a fixed income. How in the world am I going to pay $14,000? How am I going to do that when I'm a retired senior citizen? I've worked all my life. I'm a high school teacher, retired, disabled. What is wrong with the city? Well, that's why I'm going to come around here. And then I got an attorney who's also a scammer. His name is Mark Castro. He said he was going to take my case and help me and do this and do this. I signed a paper. He did nothing. He's a scammer himself. And I'm going to file a lawsuit against him because he scammed me, and he said he was going to help me, and then the code enforcement had a date for me to come and appeal again, and he passed the date, and he strung me along. This is a nightmare. But anyways, this is a rough draft, and I'm embarrassed to have done this, but I did it the last minute because I have to say something and do something. But this is outrageous, and I'm sorry that I don't want to be here complaining, but $14,000 on my income, that's crazy. And I fixed my place, and the code enforcement came onto my property without any protocol, and he fined me again. Me living in my own place, and he wants to come. I just passed inspection for Section 8. I just rented it, and he didn't even know. They don't even know that it's rented it. I fixed everything. This is crazy. Well, I'm going to call consumer protection and do whatever I can. But that Mark Castro, he's a scammer himself. My goodness.
That Mark Castro, is he an attorney in San Francisco?
He's an attorney here.
He's an attorney here.
He's an attorney here. He's running for your district, District 7. He told me, help me, Ms. Correa, and you can be my poster child, and you're going to help me with your neighborhood because you know a lot of people here. And then he scammed me.
Yeah.
He dropped the case. He didn't do nothing.
You know who that is?
He even got my medical records, so that because I was disabled, and then he dropped the ball. That's crazy.
Mm.
He shouldn't even go for it. He shouldn't even be elected for nothing.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary Esther. All right, I'm going to go off the agenda right now. I've had a request from my council colleague and my vice president to take care of an agenda item related to these free bells here. What time was?
3H.
Okay, 3H. This is a bill for introduction, adding Article 32. Should I turn it over to you?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Is staff here? Okay, they're on their way. Just a couple remarks before staff has a brief presentation. So I'm bringing this item forward and support its adoption because I see it as an additional opportunity to expand local businesses and promote the city of Fresno in a positive way. I'm grateful for the work with the administration and staff in creating an ordinance, or this ordinance. These pedicabs will not only serve the entertainment districts and create connectivity between districts, it promotes a healthier option also for the environment. Thank you. And it will also allow alcohol consumers to safely visit several venues without operating a car. That may mean that we may have a unanimous support. So
we can vote by bell if you like.
There's a couple people that I wanted to bring up. They're supporters of this item. So if you guys want to come up quickly, looks like my council colleagues are eager to vote on this item.
We're ready to vote.
Craig, do you want to come up? And I think we have someone else. Just quickly.
Greg Sharton, Downtown Fresno Partnership, and in support of this item.
You're getting too happy.
Mike Cruz here with Tioga Sequoia. Arthur's here with Full Circle, and we're both here to show our support for this, the bike community and drinking, and I think it's a great idea.
Again, Arthur Moy from Full Circle Brewing, also in support. I think something like this would put the downtown on the map, not as a destination place where you just go to Tioga and you go to Full Circle, but you get to ride around and see other things in downtown. So a little restaurant here, a little restaurant here I didn't know about, and I'll come back downtown. So I'm in support.
Thank you. We can go ahead.
Is that a motion?
A motion, yeah.
Okay. Motion, a second. The screen is clear. Signify by ringing your bell. City Attorney, I can do that, right?
The council president may choose the method of voting.
I want to vote by bell, bicycle bell. So wait, we have to go out to the public, technically, right? Is there anybody here from the public who wishes to speak on this agenda item? If so, please come forward. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close council. The screen is clear. If you want to vote yes, ring your bell. If you vote no, do not ring your bell. Ready? Steve, you're not holding your bell. Go. That's everybody. That's unanimous. Thank you. That's the
Thank you, Lupe, for getting us the little nifty
interesting
belt.
vote I think we've ever taken on the city council. Folks, bring noisemakers if you have an issue, because we'll use them. We're childlike. So you know what? Let's go off the books again. Let's do the facts item. Is transportation here? There's Jim. Let's go ahead. Folks, this is a workshop item 3G. Doing this at the request of some folks.
Afternoon, Council. Jim Shad with the Department of Transportation. While Joe's loading the slides up, just wanted to introduce Kathleen Healy. She's our administrative manager. Handles our money and budgeting and compliance. Under Canyon, the project manager, managing construction of the project. Joe Vargas is in operations, preparing the operations portions of the project. And then somewhere, there he is, Gregory is managing the operations, planning, and outreach of the project. Looks like we're ready to go. Yeah, can you? So, wanted to give you guys a status update on the project. First of all, the project is running currently at about $56.3 million. We're in the construction phase, as many of you know, and that phase, or that portion of the project, is roughly $26.9 million as budgeted. That includes the BRT stations, traffic prioritization and preemption, and real-time displays at the station. Those are the primary elements. The construction was awarded around January 28th, 2016 to be exact. The balance of the funding beyond the construction has been used to purchase buses, ticket vending machines, video surveillance, and other items related to the project. Our original service date was posted as January 17 of 2017. That was right during the construction award. That was determined to be relatively aggressive, so that date obviously has changed. Our new revenue service date is targeted for February 19th of 2018. Moving on into where our funding is coming from, the majority of it is coming from our SSGA grant with the federal government, FTA. We have matched about $12 million of funding with state money, local transit funds. And then our last bit of funding was through the Transit Intercity Rail and Capital Program, and that is being used to fund the ticket vending machines that we have discussed previously in council. So once again, the total comes to a little over $56 million. Here's where we're at as far as expenditures, and these expenditures are the expenditures we've actually paid through our PeopleSoft system. About $35 million has been expended. We have another $17 million encumbered, meaning we have liabilities out to various entities. So that totals about $53 million and leaves us with a remaining budget or a remaining balance relative to the budget of a little over $3 million. Our project schedule, as I mentioned, we had anticipated going or being in revenue service in January of 2017, but our contract was awarded January 28th of 2016, and our notice to proceed was not until May 6th of that year. That was primarily because we were doing value engineering activities with the contractor to reduce the construction contract by about $4 million. The service originally was scheduled in early this year. We had some rain delays, about 42 days of rain delays to be specific, which obviously delayed the project. It was interesting that when we were in the middle of construction, what do you know, we had the worst rain year, or the best rain year we could have. So good things and bad things. Good news is we're pretty much done with the civil work, and what that means is we've dug everything up and we've put everything back on most of the stations. The only two areas we have left are Manchester Center and the Van Ness station down by the courthouse. So the 48 stations that we're talking about there are the smaller stations along the corridor. We expect to be complete with construction in mid-December. Right now it looks like December 12th through 15th is the date Tykert expects to be done, our contractor. After that, then we start running into system integration. That's the exercise where we need to make sure all of the new systems integrate well with our existing systems, and that it functions the way we would expect it to function. The systems we're talking about are the ticket vending machines, traffic preemption, and arrival and departure displays at the stations. So once again, we're shooting for revenue service February 19th. and that seems to be holding at this point. This graph just shows, attempts to depict where we are at relative to budget and schedule. This is the earned value graph we started monitoring about 6 months ago. The red line indicates the planned value. So basically we're measuring how much work has been done relative to a plan. That theoretical curve was provided by our project management consultant, Parsons Brinkerhoff. The blue curve represents how we're doing on the base contract work, and the green curve represents the base contract work plus change orders expected. So as you can see, in the December, January timeframe, we had some difficulties with maintaining schedule, and our costs were lower, and that is because of the rain delays that we experienced during that time. Over time, Tykert and the city have picked up the pace a bit, and so we have caught up a little bit on the schedule, but we're realistically about a month behind the original plan based on this data. I don't have September's data at this point. We just received that, but Tykert really kicked things into gear, and I expect that those numbers will look more favorable for September's information. If you look at the bottom of that graph, you can see a little gray line, and it indicates where we are with change orders. And those are expected change orders. Some of those have not.
Jim.
Yes.
You know, let me just be honest. I'm not exactly sure I understand what earned construction contract earned value. I don't know if I've ever heard that term. I may have, but I could have missed it.
It's not a common term. It's something that was asked for in the Construction Management and Enterprise Accountability Acts, and it's a way to check to see how you're doing both schedule and cost-wise simultaneously. So what we're trying to do is project in that red line how we're going to spend money, which money spent equates to how much work has been done. So we would have expected the work to be done according to that red line in dollars. So every time the contractor completes work, we begin to pay them, and we have record of what we pay them, and that's how we populate the actuals on the graph. So the red line represents where we should be relative to work completed, and the blue line represents where we actually are relative to work completed. So if we dip below the red line, it means we're not getting work done as quickly as possible.
So the blue line, okay, so I'm confused between the blue line and the green line. If the blue line says where we actually are, what is actual?
So that is based on the base contract. So the amount on the base contract. The green line is the base contract plus change orders. So that's unexpected cost that we would incur as the project moves forward. So if we find, for example, a pipeline that we weren't accounting for in the construction area and we have to move it, that would be an additional cost that we would have to incur and pay the contractor to move it.
So what is the qualitative difference between, and I'm sure I'll get this at some point, but what is the qualitative difference between the blue line and earned value and actual costs?
The blue line is what we've paid them on the original contract.
Okay.
And the green line is what we've paid them on the original contract plus change orders. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering why so because the green line is still our actual cost no matter what.
It is our
cost.
It's
our cost
total,
all in.
yes.
It's cost what we actually paid them and change orders, right?
The reason we want to see the blue line is we want to measure how much
change orders, how much the degree of change orders?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that makes sense.
Okay. Any more questions on the earned value? Okay. We'll move along. Oh, well, I was saying that we're about 1.6 projected on change orders. We have about a $2.7 million contingency available for the project, and so we feel pretty comfortable with that. That's going to settle in right around 5%, which is pretty good for a project of this size. Just summarizing, total project budget, $56.3 million. That includes construction, buses, all the supporting activities, the whole ball of wax. The original revenue service date was January 17. There were a lot of original revenue service dates, but that's the last one I have on record. Construction schedule was impacted by weather, obviously. Project is still within our budget parameters. Construction's expected to be completed in mid-December of 2017, and revenue service date we are shooting for February 19th of 2018. And I will open it up to questions.
I just wanted to thank the administration and your department for working with the business owners along the Kings Canyon Ventura corridor. As you know, we had the fair this past couple of weeks, very successful with regard to revenue, attendance, and a big part of that was, Greg Barfield, that's there sitting in the audience, promised us that the construction will be finished before the fair, and he delivered. And it was very helpful to have that partnership. And yeah, I know, GB1, the original GB1. And I was thinking, you know, with regards to, you know, next year and the following year, I think there'll be some opportunity to work with the fairgrounds. There's just, when it's like a weekend, a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, it is so packed in that area, right? We get 600,000 plus visitors every year. And so I was thinking maybe in the future there'd be an opportunity for a partnership, maybe with the purchase of their fare ticket. They could ride the bus 10 minutes. We have a number of parking lot and areas across the corridor that could be used for parking. And given that we'll have 10-minute headways, that'd be a great opportunity to possibly reach out with our friends over there and see what the options were. But more than anything, just wanted to thank you guys for working with our businesses along the corridor and making sure that it was a successful fair. And I know it wasn't easy, right, Greg? But it was very successful. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Staff did a great job of not only with the fair, but the other areas of concern during peak times. And our contractor has been very good about moving things forward to minimize the disruption. So I will commend Tykert for how cooperative they've been about clearing things out when we needed them cleared out.
Cool, thanks. Jim, I can't remember on this project, was part of the money to operate the project for a certain number of years as well, or that's not accurate?
I don't believe we received money from the SSGA to do this.
So all of the money that you're talking about, the 56.3, was all about the construction of the project and the purchase of buses, so forth?
Yeah, it was a capital grant, yes.
Okay. And then paying for the service itself, once it's up and running, that's just an extension of facts and what
Correct.
We already do with our...
Yes. So some of that is replacing existing routes, but there is an additional cost to running the BRT.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, just a quick question. It says that we're still within the budget parameters, but we're way behind schedule. How does that work out with, you know, just kind of the time value of money?
We did have some additional costs relative to delays in schedule. Most of those were related to support costs from our project management consulting firm and our engineering firm. Those are accounted for in this budget. The cost of money, I think we saw that prior to construction. You know, the construction really has gone on pretty well to schedule. So moving from construction forward, we didn't really see a cost of money issue. 42 days probably isn't going to really affect us much.
Well, I mean, I'm just, was more than, the project's, you know, behind more than 42 days because the original in-service date was supposed to be in January, and now it's going to be in February of the following year, so.
There may have been some escalation costs, but we did not, most of those contracts were already in line. For example, buses were purchased significantly ahead of time, and those costs were locked down at that time. The construction contract was locked down when we awarded it. So, we're talking, I think the real costs incurred relative to the delay have been just in keeping support contracts in place until we finish. So, as I said, Parsons Brinkerhoff, WSP, and Kimley Horn have been retained, and we had to pay them a little bit more money to continue to support the project through construction because of the delay.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Jim, are the buses in our possession now, or?
Yes, all 17 are here.
Okay.
And ready to go. We have some hardware to load on them. The TSP, the traffic signal prioritization, requires some modules on the bus.
Got it.
And those will be installed in the next couple of
And
weeks.
what type of buses are those again?
Those are CNG.
CNG.
Very similar to the Fax 15 buses, almost identical to the Fax 15 buses. Some of the newer ones have a lower emission engine. It's still CNG, but
Okay.
just progress in engine technology has allowed us to
So it doesn't we don't have to swap out any infrastructure to fuel those buses?
No. They fuel on our existing station.
Perfect. Thank you.
Has there been any discussion of, and I'm last, nobody else has punched up. City Manager, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to, am I on? I just wanted to thank Jim and Greg and your team, and of course Bruce for the leadership on this project, because I know it's been very complicated, but you've all done a fantastic job, and it's much appreciated, so thank you.
And before we go forward, clarification on funding for operating. We did receive 3 years of funding through a separate source, CMAQ. Which is typical of what
That's
we might
probably
get.
what I was thinking
Yeah.
of.
So there's 3 years of funding to operate the system.
Yes.
Is there going to be, has there been any discussion of maybe running it for promotional time for 6 months or a year, or to promote the system and getting people to use it by not charging a fare on the BRT system?
There has been discussion. The concerns we have been a couple. First of all, we have a large investment in ticket vending machines, and we do want to see how those function on the route. And then secondly, we do have a requirement through the state, our state TDA funding, which we receive about $20 million a year for our operating. It requires a 20% fare box recovery. So, and we're close to that. We're about 21%. So we would just have to be mindful that we stay within that 20% quota for fare box recovery.
Okay. All right, the screen is clear. Thank you very much for your presentation today. Okay, I have a 4 o'clock. Let's go back and start at the beginning of General Administration, item 3A. This is the Parks Department.
Thank you, Council. As Christopher gets the PowerPoint up, I just want to do a brief introduction of the item. So in 2016, the City of Fresno implemented the Weekend Recreation and Fitness Program. We often use the acronym WRFP to identify that. And the primary goal was providing access and additional green space, and then enhanced recreation, fitness, and nutrition programs to the neighborhoods that had been identified as, quote, green space deserts. The program is offered on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, at various school sites in partnership with the city and with the Fresno Unified District at 14 sites and Central Unified School District at 2 school sites. Staff has prepared a formal presentation for the purpose of providing the council with a comprehensive overview of the program, an illustration of the effect of adding blue space, a summary of recommendations and improvements, and a review of requests and recommendations for future operational and program augmentation. Sean Schaefer will be leading the presentation. He's our Community Services Manager and has provided the leadership and oversight of the program. And Christopher Bernal, our Community Recreation Supervisor 1, is the direct supervisor over the program. And I do want to take a moment to thank our partners with Fresno Unified School District, Alex and Dina, for being here, and they will be wanting to offer comments as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Good afternoon, Council President Olivier and esteemed council members. Really fortunate to have the opportunity to come in front of you today and give the one-year update, the annual review for the WRFP program. In 2016 and 17, FY 17, the budget was $1.2 million. So for this upcoming year, we've been able to reduce that down to $900,000. We had some additional startup costs with that, and then some better understanding with our partners what the billing would be. So $900,000 will be the budget for this year. In terms of our core features that we're offering out at the sites there, sports, fitness, nutrition, and then access to green space. And why the access to green space is so important is prior to this arrangement and the joint usage agreement, these sites were locked down. So when the gates were closed, youth in the community had to hop the fence, they had to figure out a way to get in there. Well, now the gates are open and the community has the opportunity to go in there. So such things as tennis courts, basketball courts, handball courts, volleyball courts, tracks, ball diamonds, and tot lots. These amenities are now available to the community. The next thing here is the attendance trends. So when we started out this program, we phased it in. We phased it in over 4 weeks with 4 sites a week over 4 weeks. So what we've been able to do now is to track it for a year. That first summer we were still getting up and going, but definitely we operated. But this past summer, which I'll go over here in a second, we have a better kind of feel for that. The rain. This year we had a record rain year. So in the rain, you'll see a dip in our trend down there. When we had some really bad rain weekends, we shut down and or were minimally opened. Another dip that we had in our attendance was spring break and Easter. So we were closed for Easter Sunday. We adhere to holidays that happen on the weekend. Then as we head into the summer right here, we get to the point where we've kind of cordoned it off there, but our blue space. And blue space is the operation of the 7 Fresno Unified High School swimming pools that we did this summer. And again, when we came in front of council in May of last year to talk about the agreement with the swimming pools, we said, hey, on a 110-degree day, the community is going to want to go swimming. They are going to want to be in a swimming pool. It's going to be much more difficult to operate the green space program, even though we do, and we still perform on that. But what the community wanted, and they showed us in enormous numbers here, was the attraction to our swimming facilities. And you see the trend of the overall attendance there really jump. So the next item we hear is the overall attendees that we've had in the program, and this is site attendance. These are not unique individuals, but these are the number of people that we track as we move forward on this. So for high schools, the daily average now is 45 participants. For middle schools, 25. For elementary, 22. And we've had an increase. We've had an increase since the last time we were able to come in front of this board here. The highest daily average, Fresno High School, is the highest daily average for a site, and then we kind of middled it out, and Sunnyside is in the middle, and then McKinley is, which is a central unified site, is the low average. What we also did during this past summer here is we went and we did a comparative study at park sites, and the comparative study we did was from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. And we did this on July the 22nd, and we sent staff out to be able to get a comparative of other sites. Einstein, Orchid, and Summer Lane were the 3 sites that we went out there and we took a look at. Orchid and Summer Lane were pretty much what we would figured they would be, and this was a very hot weekend that we had out there. And then Einstein Park had good attendance, but there was a pool effect there. We have a learner pool, swimming pool that is over at Einstein, and we had a lot of folks that were coming in to utilize that. Successes in the program that we have had. We've been able to complete 16 kickoff events. So each one of the sites that are involved in this program has had a opener kickoff. Chris and his team have had the opportunity to lead these up. We bring in special events. We feed the community. We use it as a marketing effort and event out there. And we've had about 3,500 folks that have been able to participate in this. Community partnerships. When we first launched this thing, we were seeing who we could get to come to the table to assist us. We had some certain groups that were out there, and some have really stepped up, and I want to recognize those groups today. Cultiva La Salud has been a wonderful partner. Building Healthy Communities has been fantastic. Artie Padilla and Every Neighborhood Partnership has literally stood by us every step of the way. Bringing Back Broken Neighborhoods with Fresno PD has been an excellent partner. Hope Coalition, Ucomi Neighborhood Association, local area churches. When we've gone out and done our opener kickoff events, we've really had the faith-based community step up and join us out there. And then Trust for the Public Land and Clinica Sierra Vista. Other benefits that we've seen here, and we have Alex Ballinger and we have Dina Clayton with Fresno Unified, and they can attest to, but we've seen a decrease in vandalism at their school sites. They've been able to gauge this, and we feel that this has been an excellent byproduct of the partnership. We've been able to minimize unauthorized usage. So in a lot of cases, what you have out at the schools is you have different groups that will come out there without a reservation, and they will utilize the site and out of the season of sport and some things the district does not want. So
Hey,
we've been
Sean,
able.
Let me interrupt you, Sean, for a second. That seems kind of odd because the schools I thought were locked down because of vandalism and the negative side of the equation, and we're bringing the positive side of the equation to the facility, and all that drops. I mean,
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Councilman Capriolo, you read my next bullet point here, because it's going to say positive activity has driven the negative activity out. So very perceptive comment, and I think the district can very much attest to that.
Thank you, guys. It's fantastic.
But
I agree.
very, very intuitive, though. You were right on my pattern here. Program expansion. So the other successes of this is when we rolled out there, we were going to be providing, making the access available to the community. That was the #1 goal of this program, and we achieved that. But in addition to that, we had some wonderful byproducts happen out of this, and that, as I mentioned earlier, one of them was the blue space arrangement, where we were able to open 7 of the Fresno Unified swimming pools up. Another one that we had outlined but came to fruition was the ability to serve meals. So when we put this thing together, the hunger gap was a big thing that we felt was occurring out in the Fresno community. Fresno Unified's food service program jumped on board with this, and this summer at all of the high school swimming pools, we were able to serve meals. So we were able to serve about over 5,000 meals this summer to youth. And then what's really great about that is we continued the meal service after the summer at the school site. So Chris and his team are continuing to work with Fresno Unified and serve the meals out there. Challenges, as I mentioned several times, the weather conditions. So we had a heavy rain year, and that's great for our community and great for our city, but that presented some challenges to operations. The heat on the 110-degree days, anywhere from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's sizzling out there. It is baking out there. So that creates challenges on our side. The air quality. When recently we had all these fires that have occurred here, and we've had all of that smoke blow into the community. Those type of things present challenges in terms of what activities we can put together. Growing site usage. We have a couple of sites, Toronas and McKinley, for instance, that are meet the needs of the green space desert, but they're also located right out in rural agrarian areas. So there's not a lot of high density next to it. So we're trying to get all the youth that live in the community to come up and take advantage of the program, but there are some kind of built-in challenges that we continue to work with. We listed coordination with the schools as a challenge. I would also want to say that's a success, but as we rolled into the Blue Space program, we had to work with water polo coaches, swim team coaches. We were new folks on the block. That's been the same thing out with WRFP. in terms of honoring the insides of the freshman football fields, making sure we keep the activity off of that. But that coordination is a challenge and a success. Future opportunities. Again, as I mentioned, this has been a journey for us. We started last June. We're coming back to give a one-year report, but access to the green space, that was the goal. That is where we started this operation off. Then with the evolution of this, working with our partners, here, listening to the folks that we're working with, what's working, what's not working, what we need to adjust. That has been really great opportunity for us to evolve this program. And then expectations. We conduct monthly stakeholder meetings, which a lot of these council districts participate in, and for those that don't, or at least haven't had the opportunity as much, we encourage you guys to be a part of this, because this is where we try to set where we're going with this operation here, is to be able to get feedback from the community, from your council districts of where we're taking this thing. So I encourage everybody to continue to attend, and if you're not, come join us. Expansion of the Biddy sports program. This is something run by the Recreation Division. Last year we did it like Biddy soccer, Biddy flag football, Biddy baseball, stuff like that. We did 2 programs last year, and this year we'll be doing 6. So we're tripling the size of that program. District sports feeder programs. Elementary basketball. We're doing that at the 4 Fresno Unified Elementary Schools. We started that a couple weeks ago, and we're having great turnout for that. So the teams are getting to travel, play the other teams. And this is something that was recognized by the school district as a really great opportunity. Winter evolution here. So I mentioned when it was raining. When we have really rainy or cold winters, is we're hoping to be able to evolve, and as the trust continues to develop, to maybe be able to utilize a gymnasium, maybe on a Sunday if they've got other sports things going on Saturday, but to try to work our way into additional opportunities within the district. Same thing with the cafeterias. As we're serving food out there, we've got the ability now to store the food inside the cafeteria and bring it out to the kids, but maybe down the road we'll have the ability to utilize the cafeteria. And then classrooms as well. So if we're at an elementary school that doesn't have a gymnasium but that has a classroom on a rainy or cold day, we have the ability to do that. Adding additional operational time and programming. School breaks, holidays, these are things that we have built into the contract where we might be able to expand on that. Expanding marketing reach. One of the great things about working with both of the school districts, but in particular with Fresno Unified, is working with their marketing team and their communications team. So what we've done, and Chris is going to show you guys a video here in a minute, but what we've done is now we will be part of their 2018 Summer Kickoff. So we are partners, and as they get ready to do summer school and their summer meal service, we will be co-marketing our aquatics program, our swim lessons, and we as a community know how important it is teaching kids to swim and understanding what water safety means to our community. So we will have the opportunity to put that into our literature, kick that off in marketing campaigns, and working with the school district. This is just a great opportunity that we're really excited about. And then Blue Space program expansion. This year we just went within the summer. We went literally from the first Monday that they got out of school till the Sunday that they went back, but potentially going on weekends from Memorial Day to Labor Day. So expanding it. And we all know the heat, as the heat continued up to Labor Day, we had well over 100-degree weekends that I think these pools really could have been utilized on. So I'll turn it over to Chris here just to show you guys a marketing video that we did with Fresno Unified and their team.
Fresno Unified and the City of Fresno Parks Department have joined forces once again this year to ensure Fresno's youth have a safe place to play on weekends. Through its Community Green Space program, a number of Fresno Unified schools offer organized and supervised outdoor activities focused on sports, fitness, and nutrition. For more information, including times and locations, visit FresnoUnified.org.
I love the bell. This PSA will run with Fresno Unified in their different marketing channels that they have on their website, and then also
we wanted to reach all of our regional schools and bring all the leaders from their school onto our campus so that we can come up with one community service project per semester.
All right, you're only allowed one, Chris. But what we will be doing with the district is in their opportunities of pre-purchased programming time that they've done with different media outlets where they've got default time, is they'll be running this.
Does that mean they will also be out in the Spanish language?
At this point, absolutely, that would be in the next evolution at this. At this point, this is the first one we've created, but absolutely those will be, and we've discussed that in terms of Hmong language and then also Spanish and whatever other languages we need.
Thank you.
And then as we get to, and I already touched on it, just what a wonderful success with Jose Alvarado and his food services team with Fresno Unified. Just a first-class operation, and being able to work with these guys and all of the different meals that we've served, and then the creativity that they've had. So if we have a site that, a certain meal's not working, they've got the ability to adjust that. But during the summer, we serve 7 days a week, and then at Green Space, depending on the site, anywhere from 10 to 20 meals is what we're serving. Then the next slide here just shows you the power of the Blue Space program, like I said, that worked in conjunction with the Green Space program, and just the wonderful attendance that we were able to hit at these sites. And this is only Saturday and Sunday. If you looked at the whole power of this program that was really generated with the Green Space, we did over 21,000 folks, that youth and adults that took advantage of this program because of this partnership that was able to be put together. But what you have in front of you here is just the Saturday and Sunday attendance that we put together with the Blue Space.
I don't see Central included in there.
Well, Central is an awesome partner with this, Councilwoman. What we don't do anything on Saturdays and Sundays there. But in terms of our Monday through Friday operation, we last year did about 400 swim lessons, and this year we did over 800 swim lessons with Central. Central's a whole nother success story that we would love to come back and explain to the council.
Okay, perfect.
So the summers, what we did is we just created a comparison, again, just to show you how the community, the first summer that we launched it versus this summer with the Green Space and Blue Space, and you can see that we had a weekend where we were over 2,000 people that took advantage of it. In terms of the summary and added value programs, the Park RX working with the Trust for the Public Land, and again, the Trust for the Public Land has been a huge supporter with us in trying to increase the acreage of our citizens in the community, utilizing the different partnerships with the school districts. But with TPL specifically, we have a walking program where participants have taken over 916,000 steps, which equals 458 miles. Soccer for Success is a grant we got with the United States Soccer Foundation that we are specifically providing programming at McLean and Roosevelt High Schools. Last year we did Hoover and Fresno High. And I was out at McLean this past weekend, and there were a ton of kids taking advantage of that program. So just really great opportunity for the youth in our community. Biddy Sports, as I mentioned earlier, we've tripled that, and we are continuing to work on opportunities to be able to bring the Biddy Sports, which the itty bitties are 3- and 4-year-olds, and the biddies are 5- and 6-year-olds. Intramural sports leagues, we'll continue to work with the athletic directors out at the schools for gaps in programming that we can offer sports. Blue Space, we will continue to work with the school district on that. And then Silver Sneakers, we heard the council loud and clear when we were putting this together, and we have worked with our senior citizens out at the programs. We've done walks specifically at Bullard and Hoover High School, and we will continue to do that. Community partnership opportunities, we will look to continue to grow those. The food service program, looking for the next evolutions of that. Community policing, that is going to be something. We've had excellent support from Fresno PD, but continuing to weave that into the fabric of this program and bringing our officers out to the community in a positive setting, positive light. And then the Office of Transportation and Safety grant. This is the grant that we have to be able to do bicycle rodeos, bring out different. We have a trailer where we bring out a bunch of bicycles, and then kids are able to take advantage of this. And this is a sizable grant that we will be doing at 100% of our sites. So this will be implemented at 16 sites. So the next step, as we move forward with this program, we're going to be working with the school district, and we continue to have talks with them, but a potential pilot expansion of this will be Vinland Park and Vinland School. And what it is we have 11 schools in Fresno Unified that are adjacent to park sites. So we've got the ability, working with our planned maintenance folks, to be able to put in a sliding gate, a 20-foot sliding gate, and having the ability to open that on the weekends to where we have a shared usage facility, and then closing that up on Sunday night when we leave, and then it's back to how it needs to be for the school. The school, on the other hand, potentially could have the opportunity to be able to utilize the site if they're having a big special event that day, and working in conjunction with both sides. So what's great about this is as the Parks Master Plan has stated in the feedback we've gotten from the community, that they are interested in this programming. Again, this helps us bridge the gap on acreage and getting up to the number that we're really looking to get to. So at this point, I'm going to open it up for questions and comments with my team that we have here, and then just putting the word out to you guys. Help us continue to spread the word. Help us continue to get the word out to your districts.
Paul.
Thank you. Great, excellent presentation, and really exciting. I think you guys took a lump of coal situation and made a diamond out of it, and it's just going to get shinier as time passes, and the things you guys are doing are incredible. I like the coordination between the partners, because it not only strengthens the relationship, but it refines the programs, and it gets more appropriate for the location that you're addressing at that time. So fantastic. And I kind of anticipated what you were going to say. Well, you anticipated what I was going to say with the pilot program. And I'd like to see that during the week or in this, when it's hot, or summer school, because we've got the fantastic water park there. And
Absolutely.
The entire community loves it. I mean, it's full all the time, and the parents are under the shade trees having a great time and just sharing family time. And so that pilot program, I'm looking forward to that a lot. And then if there's some way I can help, let me know, of course. Anything you need, or I've always been there for you. So, and secondarily, I could get the Fresno State. You saw the kids here earlier. They're very anxious to be part of the community, especially District 4 and the area around Fresno State. So we've got assets and attributes that we can bring to the table and just make this continued success. Congratulations. Job well done.
Absolutely, and something I failed to mention earlier is our staff, what we're targeting is college students, so absolutely. So Fresno State being one of those key things. We want role models and mentors out at those sites, the cream of the crop. Thank you. Hey, appreciate it.
I want to thank our Parks Department for the work you've been doing. It was last week that I mentioned that I had a chance to go out to Roosevelt and see firsthand just how packed it was out there from folks just enjoying the campus and the partnership that we have. And I know it was only a couple of years that myself with a different hat and our now city manager with a different hat were pulling our hair out trying to make this partnership work. But you know, after some spirited conversations, we got there, and now we have a model that I know that there are other cities and school districts looking at replicating elsewhere across the state, and that just goes to the work that you guys have been doing with our partnership. Who's here from Fresno Unified? Is it?
We have Alex Ballinger, who assistant superintendent in charge of facilities, and then my right-hand, left-hand person, Dina Clayton, who I'm bugging all the
Alex,
time.
I got a couple questions. You thought you got rid of me when I came over here. Huh?
No, he didn't. He just got more.
I know that there's it's already in the planning, and I believe it went out for RFP. I know we're getting new pools in McLean and Roosevelt. Has the board decided on the timeline for that, or is it still being developed?
So the timeline's already been decided. So we're, as you know, in all things, it has to go through DSA. DSA went from getting things done in 2 months to getting things done in 4 to 6 months. And so those projects are scheduled to go out to bid right around the first of the year.
Okay.
So it's already been approved, it's been pushed through. So now that's going into the first of the year.
Great. No, and that's good to hear, because I know that that's been a long time coming. I think you probably heard me say that 50 times when I was over there about the pools
Absolutely.
and the use. And I think, I mentioned this last time, and it'd be great to just kind of flag that maybe for one of the joint meetings that we'll have.
Absolutely.
On as Fresno Unified implements their bond for new construction, that we work together in designing it in a way where the community can come in and we don't have to use those 20-foot gates, and it's a little bit more open. And I'm not surprised with regards to vandalism going on, because as you know, we struggled with that over at Burroughs Elementary when we tried a partnership that didn't work out so well. So that's good to hear that we've actually addressed that. And like Councilmember Capriola said, it's something positive that's really pushing out something negative. And so I hope to see this program expanded and maybe partner with some other community-based organizations too on pulling some more of the services there, because I think it's been a win-win for our community. And so I want to thank you over at, it was kind of an interesting time because I transitioned from Fresno Unified to the city, but the work is the same. And so I want to thank you for the work you do, and please relay that to our team over there at Fresno Unified as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Member Chavez, I forgot to thank you. I forgot the role you played in wearing two hats, but the common goal. And thanks to you on that side of the ledger sheet, on this side for your work. You're a critical link. And
am I going to get a certificate?
Well, you got to work a little harder, brother.
Ring the bell.
Thank you.
Ring the bell.
Thank you.
Hey, the other thing, it comes down to leadership, right? And one of the biggest things that we went through, and I think you were instrumental, and so was Wilma, is that final agreement was who's going to be the leadership role on the city's part. And as soon as we found out the Parks Department and the type of quality leadership that you have, that was a game changer. So a lot of things go unsaid. These guys need to get a pat on the back, because every challenge we threw at them, and every coach, every teacher, every athletic director came up with all kinds of random stuff. And it was never, oh, I can't do that, I can't believe it. He says, okay, no problem, we'll make it work. And so that success and that willingness to work with our school site staff, directors, athletic directors, all the way up to the superintendent is why this is being successful. So they've done an exceptional job, and I've been really impressed working with them and your staff. As we move this forward, it's just going to get better, and so the continuity working together we serve the same citizens. So I think that this opportunity is great.
Sounds like you're going to offer them a contract of employment. Can't do that.
That's absolutely true, and I think I always like to just kind of reflect on the work that we're doing, and I really think that the term that fits for not just for this partnership, but for what we're trying to do citywide this is like the era of collaboration. Absolutely. That we have between the city, the school district, Fresno State, State Center Community College, and there's so much investment going on by all these entities. And I think there's a great opportunity to leverage all of those resources to make our city better. And you didn't really see that in the past. There was more territorial and, stay out of our business. But now it's a different kind of a mood, and I'm hoping that we can continue that partnership in the future. Thank you.
Don't forget Mr. Collaborator, the Mayor, Lee Brandt. He is a champion of collaboration for sure. Fits right in.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to share the sentiments that were already made by my colleagues about the work that you guys are doing. Thank you for everything that you guys are doing. Thank you for, when we were going through this, for being open to adding Central Unified. As Central Unified serves west of the 99, we know that it's an area that there's a lot of need in terms of amenities, in particular with green space. So I was grateful to see that we were able to get two schools in that site. I think that there's a greater opportunity that we need to continue to explore as you guys are looking to pilot other sites and expanding your programming. I know that in my area, along with District 3 could also benefit from this, but I know I have Teague and Steinbeck that would be great areas for the neighborhood kids that also need spaces after school or on the weekend to also benefit from. So I'm looking forward to having that conversation. I also want to extend my gratitude to Fresno Unified and Central Unified, who aren't here, but I know that they've been real partners in making this a reality, and seeing a lot of the success. Fresno High, in my area also, one of the highly used facilities. I think that it speaks volumes about the need that exists in that neighborhood, especially in that central area where there is really a lack of green space. So we look forward to continuing working with Parks Department. Thank you for everything that you do. Whenever you guys have the launch or the kickoffs, you know, I'm always willing to be there and support, help promote it, and get that information out in the neighborhoods. I think that is very key and important. One of the other just comments I wanted to make, Fresno City College is a central part of that area of District 1 and also part of kind of District 7 because it's neighboring. Have we thought about exploring opportunities with Fresno City College and see if there's any opportunity for joint use of their space?
Internally, we've looked at every aquatic asset in the city, so absolutely we have discussed that unofficially. And again, nothing for sure, but with a couple of Fresno Unified pools going down this summer for rehabbing, and they're going to be awesome when they get done. But those are the type of opportunities that we could explore.
And I know that President Carol Goldsmith is very supportive of collaboration and looking ways to be able to partner up. So if there is an opportunity there, I would encourage us to explore that and see how we can continue to meet the needs of those central neighborhoods in the heart of the city.
We will work with city administration on that, and we'll see where that takes us.
Perfect. Thank you, Sean, for
everything. You got it.
Screen is clear.
Have a great rest of your afternoon.
Thank you. Okay, we have outside counsel who is here for closed session. So, City Attorney, just for point of order, could we, because Mr. Sanchez is here and I see other members of city staff that want to get their items heard, could we go in on the matter that Mr. Sanchez is here for, go in and then come back out, hear these items, and then go back into closed session? Because closed session is going to take, what, about an hour?
Total, I think it will, but this one shouldn't be that long.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do that, simply because we have outside counsel here. But there's no outside counsel for the other items, correct?
Yes, there is.
Okay, there is. Are they here yet?
Yes, they are.
And they are here too. Well, looking at the rest of this agenda, I think we could probably get through this rather quickly. Let's go ahead and do that. I see Andrew out there, so I know that those items will go quickly. So let's just stick with general administration, get people out of here, and then we'll get to you, Jim. Item 3B, Public Works Resolution approving the application for grant funds. District 2. Item 3B.
Yes, good afternoon, Council. Scott Mosier, Public Works Department. The item before you concerns the Veterans Boulevard project and an opportunity through the infra grant opportunity to secure $44.5 million for the Veterans Boulevard project. If funded, that would give us the dollars in 2019 to go forward with the construction, and that would be finished by 2021. To date, we have about $30 million that have gone into the project to get it shovel ready. We also have $28 million from the California High-Speed Rail Authority, and this would really bring everything together. So we're excited to bring this resolution forward and would recommend council support. Thank you.
All right, we'll go out to the public. Is there anyone here who wishes to address this agenda item? If so, please come forward. Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment. Return to City Council. Member Brandow.
Scott, I'd like to ask you a question. Everybody up here wants me to make a motion real quick, and I'm going to do that. But relatively, so what is the timeline for when you think these grants might we hear from Washington?
We're hoping to hear from the federal government just after the first of the year. The timing could be variable, but we'll be waiting patiently right after the first of the year. The project will be shovel ready in 2018. Everything's coming together.
All right, and I believe the mayor and his chief of staff are considering going back to Washington, D.C. to lobby. with our lobbyist. We have one back there who you've met. But we go back to Washington, D.C. and lobby for this project. So I'm going to make a motion to approve.
Scott, I had one question. You mentioned high-speed rail?
That's correct. Council previously approved an agreement wherein high-speed rail is coming at grade in the area. Their project will close Carnegie Avenue, and what the city negotiated with high-speed rail is that they'd close Carnegie and pay for Veterans Boulevard to go up and over the UP freight tracks plus high-speed rail. So that brings $28 million to help deliver Veterans Boulevard.
And the good news about that is, those sources are dedicated. So even as the bigger project falls apart, these monies will still be here for veterans. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Council. Member Gaffney.
Thanks, High Speed Rail.
I always love working with you.
All right, we have a motion, a second. The screen is clear. Is there any opposition to this motion? All right, seeing none, it passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Mosier. Item 3C, a resolution authorizing submission. Public Works.
All right, good afternoon again. This item concerns grant opportunities with federal funding. These come up through Fresno Council of Governments every 2 years, and I'm standing before you both representing the Department of Transportation for transit applications along with Public Works. Something new this time, this cycle, is that the city is limited to 10 applications under surface transportation block grant projects, which tend to be repaving, traffic signals, and the like. And we're limited to 10 applications under the air quality program. We've worked hard to capture council district priorities, mayoral priorities, and just what we picked up over the years from working with the community. So we're pleased to bring that forward. The grants are due in November, and staff's available with any questions.
Motion to approve.
Okay, let's go out to the public. We have a motion and a second already. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to address council on this agenda item? Please come forward. Seeing no one, we'll return to council and close public comment. There's a motion and a second. The screen is clear. Is there any opposition to this item? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, council. Thank you, staff. Public Works again. Item 3D, actions related to Senate Bill 1 road maintenance revenues.
Thank you, Council President. Scott Mosier, Public Works Department. This item comes out of two things. Comes out of a commitment from our city manager to bring back before the council a 5-year listing of potential street projects. Also, with Senate Bill 1 being signed into law by the governor in April of this year, the state issued requirements upon that funding in August, which requires the council to adopt a list, a 1-year list for 2018, and that is contained in your packet. What we had to do is to list out specific project locations, dollar amounts, instead of what the council had already approved in the budget, which was just to put some of the money in the Public Works budget for various paving, concrete type improvements. So once again, we've really sought to strike a balance citywide to capture key projects within each council district, and again also mayoral and community priorities. There's a lot in the packet, and it's contained in the report and attachments, but my staff and I are available with any questions.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. This time we'll go out to the public. Are there any members of the public who wish to address this agenda item? If so, please come forward. Seeing none, we'll close public comment, return it to council. Chavez. Return it to council. The screen is clear. We have a motion and a second. Is there any opposition to this agenda item? Seeing none, it passes unanimously. Thank you, council. Move now to item 3E, actions pertaining to Fire Station number 11 remodel project located in Council District 4. And we turn it over to Public Works and Fire.
Good afternoon, Council President, Council members, and City Manager. What you have before you, I'm Debbie Berdard with the Department of Public Works. What you have before you is the request to adopt the 12th Amendment to Annual Appropriation Resolution number 2017-165, providing appropriations in the total amount of $535,000 to fully fund the Fire Station number 11 remodel project. Adopt the resolution providing for a loan from the Fire Station UGM Fund to the Fire Station UGM Citywide Facility Fund. Adopt a finding of categorical exemption pursuant to the provisions of Section 15301A of the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA guidelines for the Fire Station Number 11 remodel project, and award a construction contract to R&H Construction of Fresno, California in the amount of $443,900 as the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for the Fire Station Number 11 remodel project. The fire department has opened a 4-person truck company to help meet demands for emergency services. The new 4-person truck company will be strategically located at Fire Station Number 11 based on the volume of calls and geographic location of the station. The fire department is also relocating the urban search and rescue team to Fire Station Number 11, which requires modifications be made to the existing fire apparatus bay and bay doors. The 4-person truck company, along with the relocation of the urban search and rescue team, necessitate modifications be made to the living quarters.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Motion to approve, a second by Member Baines. Let's go out to the public. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to address this agenda item? Please come forward. Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment, return to council. The screen is clear. We have a motion, a second. Is there any opposition to this item? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, staff. Item 3F, intention by the City Council of the City of Fresno to grant a non-exclusive franchise, Department of Public Utilities.
Good evening, Council. Jerry Schuber, Department of Public Utilities. The item in front of you is an annual item where we bring forward anyone who applies to become a non-exclusive roll-off franchise before the Council. There's a three-part program where they will have a resolution of intention and will ultimately end up in a hearing on the 30th of November. So we'll hear this item this week, again on the 26th, and then finally November 30th. So the city staff recommends approval of the 2 contractors on the list.
Okay, we'll go out to the public now. Are there any members of the public who wish to address this agenda item? Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment, return to council.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Member Capriolio, a motion to, a second by Member Baines. The screen is clear. Is there any opposition? Yes. Motion carries 6 to 1. Did we went out to the public on that? Yeah. Didn't we? Okay. Yeah, motion carries 6 to 1. Thank you. Those of you who have been here a while understand my issue with roll-off franchises. How much time you got? Okay, then we were able to finish that and go into closed session. Let's call unscheduled communication. Is there anyone here who wishes to address the council on any item not contained on today's agenda? Please come forward. Oh, yeah, we'll do it right now. Give us your name and address for the record, please, and you'll have 3 minutes.
George Hostetter, 730 West San Ramon here in Fresno. Going into closed session, you mentioned former city attorney Jim Sanchez sitting in back, and he is here for closed session. Could you please tell us which closed session item Jim Sanchez is here for?
For that question, I will defer to our city attorney, Mr. Doug Sloan.
No.
It's, I would suggest that for the Brown Act, the Open Public Meeting Act, that the fact that Jim was mentioned by the council and that he is here for a specific item that to comply with the Brown Act, Open Meeting Act, that the public deserves to know.
George, that's not public information.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address council on any item that's not contained on the agenda? All right, with that, we'll go ahead and close unscheduled communication. City Attorney?
Yes, in closed session, we have Ma versus City of Fresno. Also, 2 cases involving firefighter Dern and the City of Fresno and others. Real estate concerning 911 8th Street, and also City of Fresno potential litigation versus Esparza.
You have a 4 o'clock item, excuse me. We have a timed item for that. I'll turn it over to Member Brandow.
And I'm not sure anybody in the public wants to talk about it. I didn't want them to have to wait through closed session. So The 4 o'clock item really is a resolution to support H.R. 3282, and I'll just be really quick. There's not many of us here today, so my colleagues know and are probably very aware. There was, in 2012, Congress passed the Commercial Motor Safety Act. There was a requirement about electronic logging devices called LEDs, and our local truckers in the Central Valley have suggested and are supporting another resolution from Congress, 3282, by Congressman Babin, to give 2 more years to implement these ELDs in the trucks. So there's 2 problems. The federal government's not ready, and the technology's not there, and it penalizes our small trucking companies. So I'm going to make a motion that we adopt this resolution in support of those Valley trucking companies that need this time.
We have a motion, a second. We'll go out to the public. Is there anyone here who wishes to address this agenda item? Please come forward. Okay, seeing no one, we'll return to council. The screen is clear. Let's go ahead and vote electronically, please. This motion carries 6-0 with 1 abstention. Thank you, council. Are you reading the closed session? Thank you.